Now that we've added our counters in, it's going to be time to come in and start adding in our sinks, our toilets, and our bathtubs. So I'm going to zoom in first here on the kitchen. And right in this area where we're seeing this, that's where I'm going to need to put my kitchen sink at. So I'm going to come up here, select on component, and we're going to look for a kitchen sink. So we'll see what we can find. There's a sink kitchen double that'll work for us. And I'm just going to move this over and place it right here in this location. I'm going to select on the countertop and make sure that its hole here is covering the appropriate area so that the kitchen sink doesn't have any sort of hard surface going over the top of it. And this is important should we do any renderings or see this in any kind of 3D view, that the sink is in its proper location and doesn't have countertop going over the top of it. Now I'm going to start to come down here and place the sink in this area. Obviously, it doesn't need to be as big as our current kitchen sink was, but it does need to be a decent sized sink. This sink vanity square will work. I'll move it over, try to get it centered here in the space, click, and I'll just make sure that it is sitting there in the hole, and that is close enough for what I care about there. So now I'm going to step back a little bit, make sure that I have that information in. And next I'm going to place the toilet in this location and the bathtub in this location. If I select on component, I'm going to start by looking for my bathtub. It's just right here. You can see it's a three-dimensional bathtub, so if we would ever put a camera view or something like that inside of our bathroom, we'd be able to see this bathtub in 3 dimensions. I'm going to go ahead and select right here, and you can see that the bathtub is able to sort of fit right into that space. One thing to note is always keep an eye if the bathtub has a floor drain listed or not, because if there's a drain listed here, then that means that more than likely that's where the plumbing is going to come out, which also means that that's probably where your plumbing wall is going to need to be at. And in this case, this is where the plumbing is going to come out, and then any shower or any sort of head that comes out here will then be able to just drain right into the bathtub. Now we need to do the same thing here, and we're going to end up placing in a toilet. So I'm going to come up here, select on component, and try to find a toilet on the list. Here we have a toilet domestic 3D. And I'm just going to place it right about this area. Now we need to place the same kind of fixtures down in the basement down below. And we'll need a sink, a tub, and a toilet. So components, it's already defaulting to the last thing that I placed. So in this case, we're going to place a toilet in. Remember, you can always hit the space bar, just like we did with our cabinets, in order to spin this thing around. And just place it up pretty close to the wall, and then just click. Now this is freestanding, so it doesn't necessarily have to be directly against the wall. Now I'm going to come back up here to component. I'm going to find a bathtub. Here we go. It's listed as being a tub. And interestingly enough, you might see this little circle with a line going through it. And we had this before with the tub up there on the first floor. The other place where you probably have seen this is when we were starting to place our doors and windows in. This particular tub is apparently a wall-hosted family, which means there has to be a wall for this bathtub to go up against. And in this case, it's looking for a wall here at the side. So I'm going to go ahead and place this bathtub in after just clicking on the wall here, and you can see the bathtub snap itself into place. And finally, we need to place a sink. So I'm going to click there and start to look for our sinks. Here we have a 3-dimensional sink that'll work just fine. I'm going to hit the space bar to get it to the right location. Move around here. Try to get it lined up with that hole if I can, so I won't have to reconfigure that hole. That looks good to me, and those blue lines are kind of indicating that, yes, that is the spot where it likes to sit in. So go ahead and click once you get that location in. After being able to do that, always remember, if you want to be able to place these sorts of components, just come up underneath the Home tab, select on Components, and find the appropriate bathroom fixture to place in your design.